Now, what happens is when the knife opens, let's see, okay, basically you can see this is a compression lock. Okay, see that? Let's see if I can. And that's how it works. And what makes this very strong is that when the blade is receiving positive force this way, it pushes on this pin, which also is pushing down onto this little lock bar. So everything is being pushed down this way, so you have the strength, and this gets stuck in behind the tang. So this all combined together is very strong because this supports this. And then when you receive negative force, it's the same thing. You push the blade down this way, you're pushing up on this stainless steel bar and also against the stop pin. And if you see, the actual steel of the lock bar goes all the way down to here, so that's the actual thickness, which is very good. And if you compare it, for example, to like a Strider, you know, where the lock bar cutout is, you know, it's a little bit thicker. And but of course it's stainless steel. Now, you know, for me, Spydercos have always been like kind of a give and take. Like, you know, I like the steel of the blade, but they made it too thin. Or I like the, you know, the lock, but I wish it was titanium. And in this instance, actually, you know, after using it, I've learned that, you know, I'm happy that it's stainless steel. You know, these are two stainless steel liners inside the G10, so they're protected. And the stainless steel, though it may not have the bend of a titanium, it has more durability because titanium is soft. So what you want is every time to lock up, you want that durability. Let me see. For example, here we go. You know, you want that area to lock up and last. You know, and so that's what's going to happen now that you have stainless steel liners. You know, also another interesting thing about the pivot. The pivot, right here you can see, has a little notch. Let's see if you can see it inside, right there. And this is similar to an Anzo idea, where basically rather than that pivot being able to just move freely inside that little nestled space, which would keep wearing out this space right there, there is a little notch. And then that's my dog in the background. Sorry. And so when it goes in, it's secure, and that pivot doesn't spin, which would help keep the wear even rather than having that bushing spin around. They say that the new bushing pivot system helps keep more consistent manufacturing tolerances. And this is one thing that is, you know, I never see posted out there, but I have quite a few paramilitary 2s, and you see there's a couple in the background. This one is a CTS 20CP. This is the one. This is where that blade came out of, and I have the black blade to go with, you know, this one originally. And each one is different. Now, being a sprint run, of course, means then it's not, you know, mass produced as much. I mean, it had a little bit more time on each one because the steel is hard to work with. And so there's a lot of differences in blade grinds, which I was going to show, and also in tolerances. And so this is something, you know, where if you can, you want to be able to see the knife rather than just get one and not know what it's like. Each one is a little different. And I was going to show some of those examples right now. All these blades here are CTS 20CP. Okay. Now, tell you this first of all. Now, I thought this is something that develops over hard use, but it isn't. But there is slight blade play, side to side, even when brand new ones. I don't think the camera can hear it, but let's see if you can catch that. If you can, I don't know if you can ever so slightly see that movement. You think you can see it? All of them have it. Some, it's not a lot. And for what the knife is for, you know, being a, see it? A tactical, I would say, knife and an EDC knife, this one doesn't. And this is number 13. And if you see, number 13 is also the ground the best and has no lockup issues. It's very secure. And you know, like I said, you know, it's human error. This is the first one that I bought for myself, and it was ground here. A lot of materials lost, and if you can see where it starts, compared to, for example, this one. See, but I chose it because I like the shape, you know. And this one was thicker at the tip, and so I was going to show. And if you can see in this video, you know, if you look carefully, let's see. I don't know if you guys can tell, but some of them are thicker and some of them are thinner tips. See, like, let's see one. For example, the furthest one. Let's see. These top two, are definitely thinner. These top two are definitely thinner than this third one. Here, watch. Can you guys see it? It's a noticeable difference in person. Here, you see? You know, but at the same time, number 13, and which was the top one, and the third one are different in length. Over here, see? See? So these are things to consider when you get this knife. Even the lockup. You know, how far, right? How far does that bar lockup travel? You know, you can see this one's very early on the left, and the other two about the same. So just realize that Spyderco's quality, I've never bought a Spyderco that had any actual severe issues. They've always been great knives, and I definitely would say that their quality of manufacturing is above. Are great. There's no hot spots, especially with stabbing motions, thrusting motions. You don't have this the little cutout missing, which you see on frame locks, which always create like a little hot spot because your finger jammed into it. Of course, unless you hold it very far back. But that's the thing I like about this knife, because it is consistent on both, whether in each hand you're holding it in. It's consistent in how it feels and its thickness, especially all the way up. There's no bevels like on a Chris Reeve knife, where there's slopes and slants. Instead, all the grip is formed by the shape of this handle. If the knife is ambidextrous, some people say that the compression lock doesn't work. You can just do it this way. You don't have to be afraid. There's that guard. Now, what's nice too about the compression lock is, you probably have seen this, is that when you hold a frame lock, you're holding down the bar, and that's true. But you're also constantly wearing out that bar because you're applying pressure. And you can even hear on my hinders. Hear this? Look at that. Look how far I went. And now, look at that. See? Look at this. See? That's something that doesn't happen with these knives. This knife, you're never going to prematurely wear that lock bar. And what's nice is too, when you're applying cutting force, if you do a cut, perhaps, for example, in any certain directions, your hand won't accidentally disengage it. Unlike with these knives, with the frame lock knives, if you cut, and for example, the blade was to go like, there was a force pushing down that way, and your hand can disengage it, So, I like this kind of locking mechanism, the compression lock. And, it is definitely more of a high maintenance knife, but if you wanted to, you could go into the liners, and go ahead and perhaps paint them, coat them. Gun coating and is a very long process, but you could just paint them, and that would make your maintenance much less. Main point of rust is just between this stainless steel liner and the G10, that area in between. Also nice about the lock on this knife is this pin right here, which is the stop pin. You can see there's points of wear on it. Let's see, one from the knife hitting it here, perhaps another one also from the lock bar. But what's nice is, just like a car and you rotate your tires, you can rotate this around, turn it around, flip it around, and have it wear out evenly over time.